verses. I think it's very helpful. First of all, to me, but it's very helpful. This passage, I think, has quite a bit of things here in Luke um, chapter 22, verse 46. It says this, and said to them, "Why are you sleeping? Get up and pray, that you may not enter into temptation." One of the activities that we do as human beings is sleep. And I think it's one of the most dangerous things that we can do as human beings, because during that time, um, there's all kinds of things that can happen. We are unaware. And, if here the disciples were asleep, and the Lord was in great, he was wrestling and praying, to the Lord and to his own Father about his state and about what was going to come. And I think the helpful thing to do for someone that you love as a friend is to pray with them. And the Lord has been praying, um, and here's the disciples. And their minds are dissipated. They're thinking other things, and they are unable to pray, and they have no discernment of what's going to happen, what is going on. The Lord has to tell them, this is, don't so pray so you may not enter into temptation. Their minds are not acute to the need of what's going on, so the Lord has to tell him that. And even in, I mean, it's natural to sleep, but even in times of danger, many times we stay awake when we have sicknesses, when we have danger. Sometimes when we feel perplexed about things, we are unable to sleep. And and the right thing to do is many times is pray. Pray. Yes, the right thing to do is pray. And you know they were friends of the Lord, and they could not pray with him. They loved him, they loved the Lord, but they could not pray with him. They could not see what he saw. And many times we can say that many times in our own Christian life, we are unconcerned sometimes, when we need to be concerned. And not only that, but he says right here, he's asking that question, very simple question. So why are you sleeping? Why are you sleeping? And I think we can answer that question. Why am I sleeping whenever things are, in a dangerous place? My heart is not correct. My life and my set of mind is not right. Why am I sleeping? Why am I unconcerned? Why am I numb to my own need and the danger that I'm in? That's a pretty bad position to be in. And the Lord wakes him up with that question. And not only that, he doesn't tell him, just go ahead and pray where you're at. I mean, just in your bed. I think, Psalms talks about this whenever he's in his bed, his own conscience, and the Lord speaks to him. And we can say that we can pray laying down, but the Lord doesn't tell him that. The Lord doesn't tell him, just go ahead and just say a prayer with for me whenever you're laying down. He doesn't say that. He say, hey, get up. You need to get up. Hey, you need to shake it off. And many times that you have to do that. You have to shake it off. How? Well, because many times that the way that you are set, or your body, and the way that many times the way your mind and your body works is that sometimes if you stay in the same position, you fall asleep easily. But if you stand up and you shake it off, you might be able to pray longer and better, and your mind will be more acute to the things that are going on. So it is a good thing. Do not neglect what the Lord is saying to the disciples about getting up. You need to get up and shake it off and do this. We tell that to our children. If you just get up and start going, it's easier to do the task at hand. But if you just laying there, you know so basically the Lord is shaking it up in their bodies, and telling, hey, listen, you need to get up and you need to start praying, And what is praying? Many times praying is to give to the Lord what we are carrying in our hearts, our things that are perplexing us, things that are heavy in our hearts. We pray by, and through that we are giving these things that concern us to the Lord. And many times, even the action of prayer, even the what we're doing through prayer, um, it basically is sharpening our spiritual nerves, our spiritual mind. I should be concerned about this. Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't praying. I need to be praying. This is a very difficult time. It's a very trying time. I need to be praying more, be more concerned about my own soul, and not only that, about my affections. How can I be laying down asleep and my Lord is over there, you know, um, dripping drops of sweat of blood and stuff like that, and why he's so concerned about my own soul, but I'm not concerned about my own soul. And it's just it just shows the natural tendency of us as Christians. We need to be people that are checking up by questions many times. We need to check it out ourselves by getting up, and not only that, we need to just do the activity that we're called to do, to pray. Many times when we least want to pray, sometimes we start praying and the Lord just you know shows mercy, and our heart is just being enlarged by the things that we're praying, and the communion of the Spirit that becomes easier and easier to pray once you start praying. But the danger here is for temptation to come in. It says right here, pray that you will not fall into temptation, or you not enter into temptation. I don't know why, but I have this picture in my mind. Entering into temptation is like a house. You enter into a house through the door, and you're entering because the scenery is changing. You're entering because there's pulls in your heart, by temptation. And that's what I always think of that whenever my heart is being pulled, and my body is being pulled to and tempted to do things that are no God glorifying. And he says you need to pray so you will not enter into temptation. We know that temptation is not sin, we know that, but entering into temptation leads to other things, and we should never be playing with temptation. Temptation is not playing with us. We shouldn't be playing with temptation. If we play with temptation, it's like playing with fire. You're gonna get burned. So the answer here is for us not to enter into temptation by, or not enter into the door of temptation by praying. I don't want to be vexed with my in my own body, in my own soul, being tempted to do all these things. I don't need to do that. In fact, I don't think any Christian would like to, be around um, all these armies of temptation in the middle of it, and just say, I'm gonna be okay. The best thing to do is not to enter there, not to go in there, and that's what the Lord wants for us. Not to enter by prayer. A.W. Tozer said that prayer and sin will never live together, and that is true. And that is true in our lives. I mean, you have experienced that if you have been a Christian for a while, that praying and sin. The more you pray, the more you love the communion of the Lord, and you pray, and there's a communion with God, and the time goes faster, and your soul gets sharpened to the things of God. Your desire and your mind is being changed by prayer and by the communion with the Lord. It is a powerful thing to pray. It is the thing that prohibit us to go into temptation. And basically, I always think that prayer is like, sanctifying your affections. It's like it's sanctifying, just praying, just going to the Lord and being exposed to His presence by prayer, and just being there. I mean, you don't even have to say anything. You just be in the presence of God, and just communing with Him. It is the answer for our needs many times. So, um, And we find here that the Lord tells them that He gives them the answer for their temptations, for their needs. So I think we can do the same. We can apply it to our own lives. It was just a thought that I just wanted to share these things. I hope somebody's edified on this. That is my prayer. And Lord may bless you today.